Robert Dubois. He's in prison for putting Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
I'm not joining your Suicide Squad.
We'll see.
My court date is coming up. And Miss Waller said maybe you could help me out.
You're flexing in my door!
Everyone stand down.
Miss Waller, I don't...
Stand down!
I wouldn't take such extreme measures if this mission went more important than you could possibly imagine. Are you in or out? Good. Let's meet your team.
It's okay, I'm not okay.
Each member is chosen for his or her own completely unique set of abilities.
I need to feel the raindrops on my head, on my head.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Had to go number 2.
Good to know.
Is this thing a dog?
A dog? What kind of dog do you think it is, mate?
I'm gonna go with Afghan Hound.
Oh my god, is it a werewolf?
Yo, next time you next to a werewolf! Yo, let me out!
Hey, he's not a werewolf, okay? He's a weasel. He's harmless. I mean, he's not harmless. He's killed 27 children, but, you know.
Your mission is to destroy every trace of something known only as Project Starfish. Any questions?
Starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Think there's any connection?
No.
No. All right. Let's get it. This is suicide.
Well, that's kind of our thing.
I'm a superhero!
Where's my dad?
I'm gonna get you out of your life.
I'm going to get you out of here alone.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Bird.
Now it. Stay off the comm.
Oh, man. All right. Go, Gogs.
Welcome to Movie the Podcast. That's right, Movie the Podcast. It is, doesn't matter what month it is, because we watched Suicide Squad. The
Suicide Squad.
Yes.
Yes.
Can't talk, but you know what it is. It's brunch. The brunch bunch is here at 11 a.m. on a Sunday.
Brunch is back, baby. Yeah. We're living it up.
James Gunn's Suicide Squad. The
fascism.
Suicide.
Yep, we beat fascism.
Wait, was brunch gone because of fascism?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
shit.
Are you not on Twitter?
Yeah,
No.
When Donald Trump was president, nobody could go to brunch.
Oh.
Yeah. Shit sucked. Now we can go to brunch.
Oh, thank God.
That's what the B in Biden stands for. It's brunch.
Brunch baby. Joe BB Biden. Joe Brunch Baby Biden.
What's the extra B for? Oh, that's a typo.
That's a typo.
Anyway.
All right. The world's finally safe for landlords again. Good job, boys.
Yeah, right.
Did it.
All right. So yeah, we watched The Suicide Squad. There's going to be something happened this week that has never happened in the history of the podcast for me, and we'll get into that in a second.
Maintaining an erection to completion?
No, well, that's never happened to me in life, not just on the show.
Fair.
And define completion.
Until it reaches its,
I mean,
until it reaches
done,
the logical end.
Yeah, it's
no. It's her completion, not your.
No.
Wait a minute. Explain this concept real quick.
It's
What do you mean
done when I
her
say it's
completion?
done.
Yeah. Women don't enjoy sex anyway.
No.
All right. Anyway, what did you all watch this week? Alec, did you have any time to watch any movies since you were on yet another international gallivant?
Yeah, what are you, gods all of a sudden? How come you're on vacation every day?
I love it. It's awesome.
I mean, I'm on vacation, but I still don't miss the show.
Oh!
Hell yeah.
Ooh!
I watched two.
I remembered what day I sold my house, too, so I didn't miss an episode.
Oh, yeah, we're closing on our house today. I can't do the show tonight.
That's been really good.
Gogs has been really good. We were just talking about that.
No, we're sponsored, Paul.
Yeah.
We're talking about it on the episode you missed a few weeks ago.
The first one in like a stretch of like.
That's what we were saying. Like,
Ever since COVID showed up, all I need is a worldwide near my calendar.
So I watched two things. I watched Rocky Balboa, which is outstanding.
Nice. We did an episode on that, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we watched it for a Sylvester Stallangeary.
I love that movie.
Or maybe it was just one of our Rocky veto picks. I forget. But that movie's outstanding. And like, the more times I see it, the better I realize it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to think of it as just like a throwaway Rocky movie because it's not with the original ones, and it's like still 15 years before Creed, I think, something like that.
Wow, really?
When they announced, when they announced it,
it came out in like 2006.
Wow, I didn't realize.
It sort of felt like a cash grab, right? Like when you first heard about it.
Sure.
And
at the same time, well, I don't know if it was at the same time, but it was like slightly. It might have been like
John Rambo or whatever.
I'd say. I don't know if they were in production around the same time or like one right after another, but it was just like, okay, you're gonna do another Rocky and you're gonna do another Rambo. Like,
yeah, it's like someone owes taxes.
And then both of those turned out great.
Yeah.
It also didn't help in leading up to the movie's release that they were talking about the premise so much, and the inciting premise is super stupid.
Yeah, this EA Sports video game says that Muhammad Ali could have beaten Superman, so
yeah,
like what?
Oh yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if I forgot or if I just realized it on this rewatch. Like, that original video game simulation was done in like the 70s based on some shitty simulation they did on Muhammad Ali versus Rocky Marciano.
Oh, is that right?
Where they said Rocky Marciano would have won, and then Muhammad Ali said, "Yeah, well, that computer must have been built in Alabama."
That rules.
Do you guys remember there was like an ESPN TV show where they had that? It would be like, oh, we pitted the 84 Bears against the 62 Giants. That was like an actual program for.
It didn't last very long.
I remember the History Channel did that with various warriors.
And they made a really terrible 360 video game that I had. It was like a fighting game. It was like samurai versus Confederate soldier.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's a caveman versus Abrams tank.
Yeah, they had It was Antonio Tarver ended up losing to. Jermaine, what the hell was his name? Jermaine Taylor, because supposedly he was like dicking around filming that movie and not training for the fight.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, how could he not be training for the fight? The world's greatest sparring partner, Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, that movie is excellent.
Yeah,
and
Stallone is great too.
It's a nice setup for Creed too, because it like old man Stallone, old man Rocky is like maybe as endearing or possibly more endearing than Rocky 1 Simpleton Rocky.
Oh yeah, no, I think. Go ahead. Why don't you talk? We lose Sean and Alex.
No, I'm here.
Oh, what were you saying, Sean? Go ahead.
I think that MGM or UA or whoever owned the movie at the time wanted Stallone to win in the movie, so they they shot an ending where he won, and it's super dumb.
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
That's really awful. Like, why would he win?
To be fair, it doesn't make a lick of sense that he would be able to go the distance either.
That's
also true.
Like, that if this was a real fight between a 65-year-old man and the world heavyweight champion who has like 10 belts at the time, unless the champ didn't take it seriously in the least, like, that match would have been over in 2 or 3 rounds.
Well, so more akin to the Great White Hype is what you're saying.
How old was Foreman when he came back? Wasn't that? I mean, that was a big deal, right? That
he was still in like his 40s though. Like, he wasn't as old as Rocky's supposed to be in this. And Rocky's record is like 70 and 40 or something like that.
Right.
Like, he has like 40 losses.
It's like he has got like beyond pudding. He's like tapioca brain.
I was watching that Foreman Moore fight because it wasn't even on pay-per-view. That's how like bullshit of a fight it was. So I was watching it with my dad, and it was like the 8th round. I'm like, I'm going to bed. I don't want to see this old man get battered anymore. I got 3 steps away from the living room, and Foreman knocked out Moore. I was like, God damn it.
It's like, but I guess that's true. That's all it takes is one lucky punch, and and you're out.
And then you become a grill magnate.
Yeah, a grill magnet.
Hey, I said it right the first time.
You did.
Right that time.
Yeah.
The end of that movie was after some other fight. Like they actually had the MGM Grand filled from some other fight, and it was the end of the night, and they told everybody to stay because they were filming a movie.
Oh, that's cool.
And the fans, apparently from what I read, the fans didn't know it was a Rocky movie. They just knew it was a movie, but they all stayed because they wanted to
be in a movie,
be part of the movie. And then when Rocky came out, they all started going nuts, chanting Rocky over and over.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I didn't know that.
Get a genuine pop.
The other movie I watched was Varsity Blues.
Hell yeah.
That movie was awesome.
I've never seen it.
You've never seen Varsity Blues?
No. I feel like it's one of those movies through just cultural osmosis I've seen because people have referenced it so many times and things. I just never watched it. I don't have anything against it. I just never watched it.
I don't know if I've ever laughed so hard in movie theaters when his little brother comes in dressed like Louis Farrakhan, and he's giving him the whole spiel, and it's like, hey, would Muhammad bang what's her face? He's like, yeah, I believe he would, or whatever that bit was. I was fucking dying.
Yeah, the kid. What Sean's referring to, TJ, is Jonathan Moxon, a.k.a. Dawson. His little brother is, confused religiously, and, every scene he shows up in, he's, a member of a different religion. At the beginning of the movie, he shows up, and he has himself tied to a cross. He's, crucified himself onto a cross, and he, is trying to walk around the house, but he can't move right because his arms are stuck straight out. And then later he shows up as, a Hare Krishna, with disciples and robes and stuff following him, and in one scene he shows up as Louis Farrakhan.
That's awesome.
It's really funny. That movie, I can't look at that movie objectively. That movie's awesome. I'm sure other people seeing it for the first time would be like, man, there's a lot of problematic stuff in here and a lot of issues that don't work with it. But that movie. I think it came out right after football season ended, my senior year of high school. And I watched that a month later, and I was like, fuck yeah. This shit rocks.
Is that better than Varsity Blues? That's another movie. I get the two of them confused.
We're talking about Varsity Blues.
No, Friday Night Lights, excuse me.
I don't know.
I've never seen that.
I remember watching Friday Night Lights and not being as impressed. I think it's Friday Night Lights is more serious.
Oh, I see.
I believe. I don't think it's as cartoony with Billy Bob, the big slob, and stuff like that. But that movie's a lot of fun. Paul Walker's terrible in it.
Yeah, he's a really bad actor.
I think that's his first big movie that he was in, I believe. Dawson's Texas accent is the worst accent of any kind ever put on film.
Wow.
It is so absurd how bad it is. That was the first time I saw a lot of people in movies, I think. That was the first time I saw Paul Walker in a movie, the first time I saw Ali Larter in a movie, the first time I saw Amy Smart, I believe. A lot of people's first roles. And Jesse Plemons is in that movie. He plays Paul Walker's younger brother, and he's 8 in the movie.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
it's also I had a hard time going back to because I just think of Not Another Teen Movie all the time.
Yeah,
isn't the fat kid the same kid in both movies?
Yes.
Yes.
And then he lost 150 pounds, couldn't get work anymore, and died at 41 from complications of the
failure.
Whatever they put the lap band on his stomach or whatever.
Oh Jesus!
But he died from complications from that. So he should have just stayed fat. He probably would have lived a little longer.
God, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, you saw it earlier.
I didn't watch Not Another Teen Movie this week, but that movie does such a good job of spoofing so many movies that I think of that before I think of the other movies half the time. She's All That. American Beauty, this
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah, that might be the best spoof movie that actually spoofs other movies and not just
it's not just a reference. They actually write jokes around their
it's so fucking good.
I feel like Scary Movie did well.
First, like that in Airplane. Yeah.
Well, that and actually, I was gonna say Scary Movie and Hot Shots. I feel like Hot Shots did a very good job.
I mean,
of creating a movie around referential humor without just being winks and nods.
It wasn't until those Scary Movie guys. I forget it's the two guys. When they ended up turning it into like a franchise, and it was like epic movie, and this.
Well, they made like 6 or 7 scary movies. Then they did like superhero movie, epic movie.
But it's like Assassin's Creed.
But then
one every year
turned into the whole like it's just the reference. It's not a joke. It's like what Family Guy does. Like it's like it just devolved. Like they started out like pretty funny, and then it just turned into, hey, we're just gonna copy this scene, and that's funny. Like, there's nothing we're going to add to it. We're just going to do the scene over again.
But that fucking Mr. So you threw a bad pass to a mentally retarded boy and he got cut in half.
Funny.
Oh, God.
Well, you just recently saw an earlier Paul Walker movie because you watched that one about the woman banging the T-Rex.
The T-Rex movie, yeah.
Yeah, that was a movie, but that wasn't like his debut. Or that wasn't
that was a film
breakout. That was like
oh right, that didn't really put him on the map.
Waiting for the Criterion Collection.
I would bet like 15 people have seen that movie, and I'm lucky enough to be one of them.
Yeah, lucky is an interesting word.
That's it, Gogs.
So I just watched a bunch of stuff I've seen before, so I'll run down the list because that's like what we do on vacation. We watch the same shit. We watched The Big Lebowski, banger. We watched Jaws, banger. We watched Animal House, banger. And we watched Pulp Fiction, and I'm going to stay on that one for half a second.
Uh-oh, I was worried you were about to tell me that it's not good.
No,
not
it's tremendous.
Banger.
I don't know if I've ever, like, I think since doing this show, I've gotten a lot stronger appreciation for, like, not just, like, story or whatever, but, like, yeah, and men. So that's something else I picked up on, all the feet in that movie. Seriously, like when
that might have been the highlight of this whole show was that when you didn't, I legitimately thought you were doing a bit with the feet thing where you're like, is that
now it's like I feel like I've been red pilled and now I just see it everywhere. Like,
oh my god, you got foot pilled?
Yeah. So, but there's a couple of scenes in that movie that I from doing the show I never appreciated, like how they must have been constructed, like the tracking shots through, like just the opening scenes where Jules and Vincent are going through the apartment building to go not kill Phil Lamar, like the tracking shots like through those hallways and kind of just walk like as they're taking all the corners and everything. That's all one take. Like the scene where Bruce Willis gets out of his car to go to his apartment, and he's going through all these backyards and under fences and stuff. That's all one take. But there's a lot of just really cool shots in that movie. And it's still a ton of fun. And it's the only, I don't think I'll be going out on much of a limb here.
It's not a ton of fun if you're my dad, because there's too much talking in the movie.
Too much talking?
Well, it's not funny as hell or scary as hell.
There's moments of comedy in that movie.
I think it's legitimately funny in a lot of that movie.
The scene, like, also, I would say, out of all the, like, cameo appearances Tarantino has in his movies, the one in Pulp Fiction is the best one. And
which one, Ricky Nelson?
Yeah, when he's like with the whole coffee thing, he's like, "Don't tell me it's good. I know it's fucking good." And then he has the dead N-word storage.
Yeah.
He had to slip a couple of those in there.
I mean, it is a funny scene. Like,
it is.
And the wolf, that part, that whole segment is
the
so
whole
good.
Like I use the same soap you did. Like that whole bit's great.
The part where, like, to go back to the coffee bit, where Winston Wolf takes a sip of the coffee, he knows he has 40 minutes, and he takes a brief pause to turn around and just give a little acknowledgement.
I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
But no, like, I think this is the John Travolta that I like the most of any John Travolta. I can't think of a performance where I found him. I don't find him annoying at all in this movie. Like,
well, that's the thing. Tarantino tricked everybody into thinking he was a good actor. Because you remember, after Pulp Fiction, that's what, like, revitalized his whole career.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't in Pulp Fiction, we like all the crappy John Travolta movies that we watched on the show, he probably wouldn't have been in them. Because everybody's like, "Oh man, this guy's so fucking good in Pulp Fiction." And then it's like, "Oh wait, he sucks." He's like the big bag of irregular Oreos. I don't see what's wrong with this one. Then you watch From Paris with Love. Oh, or whatever.
Yeah,
the
he's
fuck
like
that movie was.
Tarantino's like the late '90s, early 2000s A's, where they sign some fucking loser and he gets 55 saves and they trade him for an entire franchise.
Billy Bean or whatever the guy's name was.
Yeah,
he's played sabermetrics with actors.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah. Also, I mean, it just speaks to how good of a director and writer he is. Like, he's like, we've talked about this before on the show. Like, George Lucas specifically, how awful a director he is, and he gets awful performances out of his actors. The exact opposite can be said for Tarantino. Like, every time, that's why, like, people want to be in his movies. Every time one of his movies comes out, somebody is in the, consideration for best actor, best supporting actor. It's because he gets the best, like, shit out of people. Look at Leo in fucking Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's fantastic in that fucking movie.
He really. Well, I've always thought Leonardo DiCaprio.
I think he's especially good in that movie.
He is. I think didn't that also kind of not like he wasn't working because he's prolific, but didn't it kind of reignite Samuel L. Jackson as well? Like when Pulp Fiction came out?
I would say so.
I'd say so, yeah, because he was always working, but he was definitely like a B guy. Like,
he was like the second person in like Long Kiss Goodnight.
He was like a Chris Cooper.
He was a character actor.
Yeah, exactly. He was
like a Tom Noonan.
Yeah, he's in a lot of shit, but he was never like a main guy, and that elevated his status to like a star.
He's tremendous in that movie. He
also looks super cool.
He does. and just I'll be done with this. Is little I wanted to figure out. I would like to commission something, TJ, Pulp Fiction related.
Never done anything Pulp Fiction.
I was sort of thinking just to pitch it. I was thinking about like the ape off of those things the MLB were doing, where you do like the facial hair and the hair like whatever of cool. Like if you did Vince and Jules, like just did like kind of like their negative space. But anyway, we'll. Moving on.
We can do that. I watched. Here's the thing. This is the thing that's never happened on the show before. So I watched our featured movie twice. I liked it so much.
Oh wow!
So I watched The Suicide Squad again. We'll talk about it more later. But I just wanted to point it out there. I've never ever in the history of this show watched our featured movie more than once. I watched the movie twice. I liked it so much. Secondly, I saw The Green Knight. Which I thought was incredible. I fucking loved it. It's already a movie though that I think when it gets to Netflix or whatever and hits a wider audience, it's going to be a movie that's not going to be for everybody. If you go into this movie expecting it to be fucking like an action fantasy movie, you're going to be like sorely lacking. This is like a very hardcore telling of like an Arthurian legend, and it doesn't stray from that. And like what I liked the most about it was I feel like a lot of times with adaptations, I'm looking at you, Guy Ritchie, King Arthur movie, they try so hard to like modernize it, like because they're like, well, people won't get it because it's not modern. Like this movie goes out of its way to stay very old, and like a lot of the logic that they have is like very old. And they don't bother to like tell you like, they give the audience enough credit to think, well, the sensibilities of these people in Arthurian times are a lot different than they are today. And that alone was like enough for me to just be like, wow, that's really bold. Like again, a filmmaker giving the audience credit, which is a mistake in a lot of cases. But I absolutely loved it. I thought Dev Patel, again, another kind of casting I believe Dev Patel is an Indian man, or at least from Indian stock. To cast him in an Arthurian legend, I'm sure a lot of old English people got pretty upset about that. He's great. The visuals, like it's like they did the best. It looks like a big budget movie, but I think the movie I think it's under like $40 million. Like they did the best they could with the money that they had. This movie looks expensive as shit, but it's a lot of like just being smart about how you direct things, a lot of like showing just a little bit instead of just trying to be like all CGI and crazy. But I absolutely loved it. I also, like, as someone that, grew up a fucking nerd and I know a lot about these kind of myths, like they add the stuff that he added to the lore was interesting. And like he also like sprinkled in, because the Green Knight story is very A to B and it's very fast. I don't know if anybody's familiar with it. It's been adapted a billion times. Tolkien himself adapted it once. But it's a very quick and easy story, really. So you had to add some stuff, and the stuff that he chose to add is really interesting. He weaved in a couple of other old English myths into the tale, and I don't know, it comes away as something that's like very unique, and I fucking loved it. Like I can't wait till it comes out for home release, because I'd really like to watch it again. I fucking loved it. It's one of the better A24 movies, and that's saying a lot, because I love it. And this is by the same guy that made A Ghost Story, and we all love that movie. This guy is incredible. Like, what a storyteller. Like, just like, you guys remember how in A Ghost Story, you had that sequence where, like, you went into, like, the deep, deep past, and then you had the, like, far-flung future, but it all fit, it all, like, flowed together. It wasn't like you weren't like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this doesn't make any sense. This movie does the same thing, where it has a lot of kind of, like, I don't know, like, fantasy realism, I guess is what I would call it. Like, a lot of, like, dream logic kind of things. But it all just flows, and it makes a really compelling story.
So this movie doesn't have a scene at a banquet where one of the characters explains the premise of the movie?
I was waiting for it, and no, it never happens. I also, I gotta give a shout out to the girl from Ex Machina who played the robot. She plays
Alicia Vikander, is that her name?
She plays 2 roles in this movie, and she's really good, but the whole time I thought she was Lily James from Baby Driver and Darkest Hour and that Beatles movie. They looked like they could be sisters. The whole time I thought it was Lily James, and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, it's the girl from Ex Machina. She's really good. Babyface Joel Edgerton shows up, and he's really good. Like, everybody's good. The guy that plays Arthur, who's the lead actor in Possum, and he was in fucking Prometheus and a bunch of other stuff.
Is Possum the Silent Hill movie?
Yeah.
I still gotta see that.
He's really good. Everybody's fantastic. Also, they did an interesting choice where they never call any of the named characters besides Gerwin their names. Like, they just call Arthur the King, and there's a guy that's like at Arthur's side who's, I think he's credited as magician. He's clearly supposed to be Merlin. Like, they don't ever name them, which I don't understand why they did that, but it makes it interesting. I don't know.
Maybe it just seems less hokey.
Yeah, probably. Also, all of the design work is incredible. Like, I love the look of the movie. The titular Green Knight looks amazing. He's voiced by the guy that was the dad in
The Witch, right?
The dad in The Witch. I think he was also the boyfriend in Ready Player One, if I'm not mistaken.
He's also in
but he has like an incredible voice.
You blew up my mother's sister.
Yeah. He's got an amazing voice, and it, like, to see this giant monster man and that voice come through, it's amazing. I can't say enough good things. It's a 10 plus for me. I fucking love it. What were you saying, Gogs? I'm sorry.
Oh, no. That was.
I think all of you will like it a lot. I know, like, we're all nerds and we all like fantasy shit, and I think this is like. Go ahead. Sorry.
Can we watch it someplace?
No, it's not available online yet. I will say, though, that'll probably be available sooner than later, because, like, Zola was available in theaters only and came out on digital like 2 weeks after the fact, so I don't think you're getting like that long like period of like delay that you used to, because theater stuff is still so limited. But I highly recommend it. I think it's the best adaptation of a King Arthur myth I've ever seen. I can't even, like, nothing's even close. Like,
I don't know if I know enough about King Arthur myths to tell you what's a good.
Really don't. I mean,
the Sword and the Stone, right? That's King Arthur.
That's good. Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen Excalibur, that weird ass movie from the 80s?
I know the Capcom cool game. Yeah.
Oh, Knights of the Round, that game rocked.
Yeah. I played Strider. Is Strider released? Is that based on Arthurian myths?
Where's my Strider movie?
What about Strider Returns?
I think that was Arthurian.
I played that too. But yeah, that's all I watched. I love The Green Knight. I highly recommend checking it out.
You know what? It's funny. Like I'm so like unfamiliar with fantasy stuff. I was dating a girl that had a dog named Strider, and I thought it was named after the video game character, and it turns out it was named after some Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah, it's what's his name? It's Viggo Mortenstein.
Viggo Morgenstern.
But it's confusing because he has like 7 names. Like Strider, they call him Strider in the first
Aragorn
in the first one, and they never call him that again after.
Yeah.
Well, Strider's Strider's his undercover name, so people don't know he's the king.
Oh,
real subtle undercover name.
Shit, I didn't know that. No idea. Also, you know what else I realized this week has nothing to do with movies. Eminem, you know the rapper Eminem.
Marshall Mathers.
Not the candy, but the
Eminem.
rapper.
Yeah. Marshall Mathers. Totally went over my head.
Oh wait, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh.
I mean, he doesn't spell it right, so how would I?
That's true. That's true.
Who's left? Sean.
I did a similar thing to you, but the worst version. I watched Suicide Squad.
Oh no!
The David Ayer vehicle. Just cause I was like, maybe the third viewing will be the charm. And that movie's still incredibly bad, like in a way that's like spectacular.
Did you watch it before or after the Suicide Squad?
Before.
Okay, because I'm curious what if you watched it after, it probably would have been even more.
No, I would have killed myself. Like that would have been it. It would have been like Facebook updates. Sean is watching Suicide Squad, and then 2 hours later, it would have just been like a ladder emoji, and that's all the last you would have heard of me.
Oh.
That movie is atrocious. That movie's like, it's a movie that like makes you go, oh yeah, Joel Kinnaman can't act. But then it's like, he was good in Altered Carbon, and then you watch the other movie, it's like, well, yeah, Joel Kinnaman's good, but like, it feels like nobody wants to be in that movie.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's such a
also
fucking
it's
drag.
a mess. It's also an absolute mess.
It's directionless. Like, it doesn't have like you can tell like it doesn't have a point. Like, it just seems like they're just throwing shit together at the
But it's also the product of several masters, right?
Yeah,
because
I mean,
it's not what David Ayer wanted to make. Not that I'm saying that would have been good.
Yeah, because he wanted to make the Tax Collectors, and look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to, I forgot, some reviewer was calling it, he said his version was a soulful drama.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Take Shelter or something. I don't know what he thought he was making. But it's like unwatchable, which is weird for a movie I've seen 3 times.
It's like you proved him wrong.
Did you watch the extended version or the normal version?
I didn't know there was an extended version.
Yeah, there's an extended version. I think it's only got like 5 extra minutes of Joker shit.
Like, it's just, I think we've made this comparison or this kind of analogy before, but it's like watching a movie that they're making on the fly. Like, they're just and then what? I don't know, some blob things.
It's like if my kid tells a story, it's just and then.
Yeah, it is an and then movie, and it's like, but they never. It feels like a bottle movie, even though the whole movie doesn't take place in one location, but it feels like it does.
Yeah,
and it's just like there's very good actors in the movie, and it's like they're so bad.
And then the movie we watched this week comes along, and it's like, this is how you do it.
And you can't see half the movie. Like, I forgot how dark it was. Like, visually dark. Anyway. Don't watch it. Again. It's bad, man. And the soundtrack is like, it gets worse every time with the soundtrack. Like, I know a lot's been made about how on the nose the soundtrack is, and this movie has a couple on the nose tunes, but I like the songs better. Yeah, like they're slightly deeper cuts.
Yeah, and also like I feel like this movie doesn't like overpower you with the soundtrack. Like I feel like in the original it's just like bam song, bam song. Like
I love that Jim Carroll Band song. Like it's one of my favorite songs in general. It's like super on the nose for what they're doing, but like it works better because I like the song more.
It's a good song.
Anyway, that was it.
All right, that's everybody. So let's talk about The Suicide Squad. There will be spoilers in this.
Oh yeah, heads up.
Go watch it. It's really good. Also, I don't think this goes to Sean's usual point that I don't think you can spoil this movie. Like it's just really good. I like you could know every story beat, and I still think you're going to enjoy it.
It's a spectacle movie. It's not a plot-driven movie. It's not.
Well, the nice thing is that it has a plot.
Yeah, but it's not like fun. But it's not. There's not like a I mean, I didn't think there was any like big, like earth-shattering reveals that you're like, oh, no.
The Cena stuff at the end, that's his like turn. I mean, that'll lead into the TV show, which I'm excited.
A couple of the deaths, like one specifically, I wasn't expecting, but
it's true. Right? If it's the same, here, spoiler alerts. Moving on, and pause for people to stop. Joel Cinnamon didn't think that was going to happen. I was like,
especially the way they did it was so fucking gross. Like, this movie's disgusting. By the way,
I thought,
it's very violent and like so. It's so filled with cursing, like it's kind of hilarious.
And there's
I forget who made the point.
Dick, you see Dick.
That dude just comes out hanging.
Yeah, you see fucking dong in this movie. Hell yeah.
I forget who made the point. Somebody online. It's like, if you ever wanted to see Warner Brothers make a trauma movie, this is about the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah, it felt like to me, it was like, I know he didn't write it, but like parts of this movie felt like Garth Ennis touched this script up. Like it was like that kind of level, like his like 90s comics where he would throw in so much over the top gore.
What did they used to call it? Widescreen when they did it in those comics? Like,
oh yeah, something like that. Anyway, who wants to go over the plot of this movie? Should be a quick one.
I mean, the plot is not. Once you get past, the plot is not all that different than the first Suicide Squad movie.
In a lot of ways, this felt like. I think in a lot of ways,
I can do it.
Well, I think in a lot of ways, this movie is a remake of the original.
I mean, you got a big monster that can take over people's bodies in the center of a city that you need to get to and destroy.
Well, and I think like there's a joke in the very beginning of the movie where like Amanda Waller is describing Idris Elba's character Bloodsport. Was that his name?
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
And then she introduces John Cena's character, Peacemaker, and they have the same origin. But like you can extrapolate that as a joke on Deadshot too. Like it's the same. It's like a joke that these characters are all basically the same.
Well, they also said the same thing about Savant, the Rook's character.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then
I wish he was in the movie more. I know I say that in every fucking James Gunn.
Yeah, but I
wish the Rook was in there more.
It sets the tone real nice because it opens with him, and then he's the second person we've seen because Slipknot, I guess, had his neck exploded. Yeah, and then this is the only.
Well, I like the Subversion too because Michael Rooker's character is like this hard ass, like amateurs, like these guys all suck, and then he's like cowardly trying to swim away and run. Like I love.
Yeah, he's the only one who actually runs away.
Yeah,
everybody else just dies.
I love that.
Stupidly.
It doesn't establish that James Gunn hates birds. I'm sure there's some kind of thematic reason for all the bird shit, but like I don't know. It stuck out.
Anyway, all right, just go through the story real quick. Alec, go through it real fast.
So there's a bunch of supervillains in prison. Amanda Waller's in charge of the prisons or something. She recruits these villains to be on her super teams, Task Force X, which they lovingly call the Suicide Squad because people always die on the missions. If you accept the mission and complete it, you get 10 years off your prison sentence. They go to Corto
Maltese.
Can I pause for half a second?
Yeah.
Is this I'm not the biggest DC guy, but this was a big plot point in The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, it's the inciting incident is the war in Corto Maltese.
Is Corto Maltese been a big DC thing, or is it only shown up that one time?
As far as I know, I think it's just The Dark Knight Returns reference.
No, I think it's like a Madripoor almost. There's like one big story, and then they reference it quite a bit in other things.
Gotcha. That was it.
So we see the Suicide Squad. It's Rick Flag, Harley Quinn, Weasel, Javelin, TDK, Savant.
What's your name stand for? It's TDK.
Blackguard,
Mongal,
Captain Boomerang.
Mongal, who I assume by her name and look is related to Mongol.
I would assume so.
And her death is fucking hysterical.
goes toe to toe with Superman.
Yeah.
Mongal gets crushed by a helicopter.
Well, she's like, I'll take it down. And you're like, oh, cool. She's like super powered or something, like Wonder Woman. And she jumps, she's able to leap up and grab. She's able to leap up and grab the legs of the helicopter, but then it's just whipped around.
They're called skids, TJ. Well, I think she fucks up that helicopter. Like, to handle that.
I think whoever said it, it's like a Garth Ennis book. That is definitely like that. That's like the Seven taking over the airplane, not knowing what to do.
Yeah, that felt specifically like a Garth Ennis thing. We're like in the Authority. Oh, that was Ennis. That was Miller. But anyway.
Yeah.
This Suicide Squad, Blackguard betrays them, gets his head blown off. Weasel drowns jumping out of the helicopter.
Did anybody check to see if he could swim?
Yeah, the command center stuff that kept happening, I thought was hilarious. Like all the betting, it really felt like Cabin in the Woods, which I enjoyed.
Yeah,
Harley and Rick Flag
Javelin
are taking cover like they should.
Yeah,
everybody else, Javelin, everybody else just kind of runs in and says, "I'll take care of it."
Yeah,
and they all get obliterated. TDK,
Javelin,
the detachable kid, who just sends his arms in to fight, but he can barely control them, and they're just like gently nudging and slapping people.
Yeah, they're just like regular arms.
Yeah. They don't have the mass of a body behind them, so it's just sort of there, and everybody just like bats them away like they're flies.
Also, real quick, I don't know if this is on purpose, but Javelin sort of looks like the religious superhero in Super, whatever the Bible Man analog was.
You're right. That's a movie I like.
So that whole group gets got. Savant chickens out, tries to swim away, and gets his head blown off. Rick Flag and Harley Quinn get captured. Then we flash back to 3 days earlier and see that there's a second Suicide Squad that was also sent onto the island at the same time, consisting of Bloodsport, Ratcatcher 2, King Shark, the Peacemaker, and Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
MVP
of the movie.
And they get onto the island no problem because the other team is taking all the fire. Like, they can't believe how easily they get onto the island because there's absolutely no resistance whatsoever. And they make their way like halfway across the island in a night.
Yep.
What's his name? Bloodsport.
Blood Bag. Yeah.
Bloodbag is in charge of Bloodbag is in charge of the second team. And
Also,
as they're getting across the island.
Is awesome.
They're in charge. They're in contact with Waller and her people, who tell them that Rick Flag has been captured and is in a prison camp up ahead. So Bloodsport and Peacemaker go through the camp, obliterating everybody.
Yeah, we should point out at this point that the Peacemaker and Bloodsport have a pretty intense rivalry because, again, they have the same skill set. So they're trying to kill people in like a Tony Hawk horse kind of way. Like each one is trying to up the other. It's hilarious.
And there's also a great scene like when they're doing the Bloodsport origin with his daughter, where it's like the mirror to that Deadshot from the first one. Again, the daughter plot, where they're screaming "fuck you" at each other through the prison phone for like
hilarious.
A minute and a half.
Fucking hilarious.
This scene kind of felt like John Wick and Common in John Wick 2 as they're kind of working their way through it, just like kind of being badasses.
When Cena walks by and just like absent-mindedly stabs the guy 100 times, like I was fucking dying.
Cena is gold in this movie. He's so fucking fun.
He's also yoked.
Everybody's yoked. Sean texted me. Fucking Idris Elba is like 6'2" and like all beef. Like he's like him next to Cena, and then Kinnaman is huge too.
Yeah, he's actually like an inch taller than Cena. I mean, he's like Cena's got him by about 200 pounds, but you know.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of beef in the barn in this movie.
So they make their way through the prison camp. get to the main house. Open up the door. Rick Flag is just sitting there drinking tea with the leader of what is not the military, but is the rebel resistance, whom they just killed all of.
Yeah,
or most of.
That shit was so
that
funny.
Scene was amazing.
I guess I got to go back. The inciting incident for all of this is that the president and his family were killed in a military coup, and the people who took over are now in control of a huge bioweapon that, in the wrong hands, could destroy the world, or blah blah blah.
Yeah, codenamed Jotunheim. Or no, Jotunheim's the name of
Project
the facility.
Starfish.
Project Starfish. Jotunheim's the name of the facility.
I forget what this chick's name is, the rebel leader, but she's like the Willie Mays of Mexicans playing Israelis in movies and shit.
She was in Predators.
Alice Braga.
Wasn't she like the one that the Batista's daughter was trying to rescue an army of the dead, or am I getting her confused with somebody else?
I don't remember, but yeah, she was in Predators. I'm pretty sure she was playing like an Israeli, and I think she was on like
the IDF and
one of those like NCIS type shows doing the same bit.
That's someone different. We go. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but same idea. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So we keep following this team. They have to make their way into the city to capture Peter Capaldi, who is Brainwave or something.
The Thinker.
I forget. The Thinker. I kept wanting to call him the Tinkerer, but that's the Spider-Man villain. I don't know DC villains like at all, especially the level of that they're using in this movie, except for Harley Quinn and Captain Boomerang. Like DC villains, like you think Marvel has a ridiculous rogues gallery. DC is just fucking absurd.
It was almost a shame that fucking Boomerang got killed off so fast, because even he was funny in the like 10 seconds he was in the movie.
Like, all names are letters, dickhead. That made me legitimately laugh. I was like, oh, he might be okay.
Yeah, there's something about Australians saying dickhead that makes me laugh in general.
Yeah.
They make their way into the city. They have to kill a bunch of people a few times. And it's all fun. They just obliterate anybody they come across. I guess I'll point this out. King Shark the whole time is trying to. All he wants to do is make friends with somebody and make a connection. At the beginning of the movie, he's reading a book and trying to show everybody how smart he is, but he's holding the book upside down.
Voiced by Sylvester Stallone, which is
funny.
Yeah, he literally just wants to make a connection with somebody
when he does the finger mustache.
Yeah, he's gonna wear a mustache as a disguise. He's like a 7 foot tall anthropomorphic shark.
Fake
mustache. Put a fake mustache on.
I was really pulling for that he would just show in there with a fake mustache. Or he's like,
he's wearing board shorts the whole time. It's amazing.
And they're like, fake mustache, huh? He's like, see.
He's learning Spanish.
Oh, we forgot like one of the best lines. Sorry, Alec. I know you hate it when everybody else talks over you all the time, forever,
constantly, never ending.
Well, you cross the bear.
Where Cena and fucking Elba's like, nobody likes a show off, and Cena's like, unless what they're showing is dope.
Fucking dope. I took a screen capture because I remember it's like, unless what they're showing off is dope as fuck. And there's Elba like it's like biting his hands like, that's true.
No, doesn't he say like it was dope as fuck or something? Yeah,
that's
right. They get to the city. They get Peter Capaldi, and they're going to stop Project Starfish. And then I think they realize that Harley Quinn is still alive.
Yeah, I think it cuts to Harley Quinn's story at this point.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're cutting to it in between all the other stuff, but Rick Flag and their team don't know she's still alive, I think.
Yeah.
Waller tells them maybe.
Somebody mentions it. Yeah.
So they make a detour into the city to rescue Harley Quinn, who has already killed like half of the army, making her escape out of the clutches of the evil new military president. And they're like, it's a really good scene. I feel like I've seen the scene before in other stuff, but they still do it really well here, where like Flag and dome are getting ready to like scale the side of a building to break in to save her, and she just pokes around the corner and she like comes up behind. It's like a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
Yeah,
she comes up behind him. She's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing?" And Flag's like, "We're coming to rescue you." Harley, like what the hell?
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's really
She's like, I'll go back in. It's just funny,
yeah.
like that. The scene construction's so funny because fucking Bloodborne is just hanging off the side of the building the whole scene.
He's in street clothes except for his like
The
death
helmet.
head mask.
Yeah, he's wearing like he's got like chino pants and like a white wife beater on, and then his crazy Deadshot helmet.
Well, like, the scene starts with her coming out of the building after like massacring everyone, which I thought was actually an awesome sequence.
And the hand combat in that sequence was
well
excellent.
shot, and you can see it.
It was very. It made me think of the Hit Girl sequence from the first Kick-Ass because they're playing like a kind of upbeat. I mean, James Gunn does it a lot, but I think the reason we remember so much of this is because it doesn't have 10 billion cuts in all the scenes. Like,
also,
that's true. They just like tracking shots and they just follow her.
Just murdering people.
Harley Quinn's really good in this movie. Like, and she, especially in the first Suicide Squad, she was just like just an annoying machine.
What,
like all her lines
of death.
All her lines were fucking cringy. Like she just was just annoying as hell. And this, she actually felt like a character, which was good. Like, and her lines were funny. Like the first line she has is like, "I'm sorry, I had to go take a shit" or something. Which is
I still kind of feel like they don't know what to do with her, and that's why she gets kind of like her own side story for half the movie. You know
I
what I
can
mean?
see that. But I came away, and again, I think I texted you this. Like maybe it's because I enjoyed the Harley Quinn movie also, but I felt like she was much better in this than she was before. Like,
she's also probably the only character that we knew was going to be safe. Like that's the only money that they're going to protect in this entire franchise.
Off. Yeah, you're definitely right.
But that scene where she comes out of the building, right, and she had like and she also had some touching lines prior to that, right? Like she actually had some like, kind of character development stuff. But she gets into the cab, and I think she gets in the cab with the javelin. She sticks it out the window, and then she looks over the corner, and I swear it was like Bloodsport was doing that thing. I guess whoever said like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Like he almost has like his hands up like walking on tiptoes like across the street. It was hilarious.
I don't think we've mentioned that. So Harley Quinn, the guy Javelin in the beginning of the movie gets killed. Harley Quinn has to like listen to his death speech, and he's like he doesn't finish his sentence. So like she doesn't understand why she needs the javelin, so she has it with her the whole entire time. Also, it pays off at the end, which is nice. And I know it's not a high bar, but it's nice that this movie has setups and payoffs for like several characters.
Yeah.
Like I said it on Facebook, but like I know it's not much, but like it's compared to like Zack Snyder movies and David Ayer movies, it's like a masterclass in storytelling.
Well, they try to give everybody some kind of emotional arc, and like mileage may vary. Like I like the actress that plays Ratcatcher. I don't know that arc with her and Elba's the best, but at least it's something.
Yeah, it's something. Also, a fun cameo from Taika Waititi.
Yeah. I was like, that Ratcatcher chick is fucking hot, and then I saw she's like 25. I'm like, I'm a fucking pedophile. Like everybody's so young now.
I've gotten over that. I mean, she's 25. She's not 10.
She's like a baby Marianne Cotillard.
Yeah, she's definitely attractive. Actually, Portuguese as well.
Yeah.
So Harley Quinn's back they got the whole team back together. They've already kidnapped Peter Capaldi, the Thinker. So he's the head of Project Starfish. He gets them into the Project Starfish base, which their job is to destroy the base and all info about it. Ratcatcher and Rick Flag figure out that the U.S. government's been funding this the whole time, just letting it be in this third world country so that they don't deal with any of the blowback from it if it ever got out. So really this whole mission is a cover-up mission for the government, so the world doesn't find out that the U.S. government had this horrible space monster in captivity for all these years and was conducting experiments on it forever.
That was a bit of social commentary I was not expecting in this movie.
I enjoyed it though.
So did I.
That was a great plot point.
Everybody has some great scenes here in Jotunheim. Like everything goes to shit real quick.
Yeah.
And I wish they would have told the story more linearly and not going back
like
and
8
forth
minutes
in
later,
time.
10 minutes prior. Yeah.
I
didn't mind it for most of the movie, but I didn't like it here at the finale.
Yeah, it breaks up the pace a bit for your big kind of like propulsive like third act.
I don't know. I kind of liked it only because it led to that Idris Elba like falling through every.
Well, that's the whole
floor of
reason it's
building.
there, because that scene fucking rules. But you could have done that in a straight timeline, you know.
Sure.
But I was kind of interested, like, why they screwed up and blew stuff early. Like, I wanted to know why that happened. And
Also, King Shark making the little figure of
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker. I love John Cena.
Looks nothing like.
I love Cena's line. He's like, I really appreciate what you're going for, but that looks nothing like me. Like, I appreciate that you did that.
John Cena is absolute gold in this movie.
He's a gem. He's really embraced his weirdo-ness. Like,
the team fights really they don't fight the starfish till a little bit later. They're really just fighting against the building collapsing and trying not to die for the most part. Polka Dot Man obliterates some people. Maybe my favorite joke and favorite thing from the whole movie is what was the guy's name? Willard? Milton.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious.
And then they call it back at the end, and she calls Bloodshot.
Bloodsport.
He's like, I'm not Milton. Milton was the other guy. She's like, no, we just had this conversation. 10 minutes ago. You're Milton. Oh, I loved that. I loved that callback, and I loved that.
It was funny too because as he was going with it. Oh, sorry.
Bloodpool's like, what the hell's Milton still doing with us? Polka Dot Man's like, he's been with us the whole time. He followed us in here. He's trying to help.
I thought he was in the van.
What's funny because when he was like running with them into the building, I was like, why is he still with them? It seems kind of strange. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Gogs.
It's like when it's like the one guy that Deadpool recruited in Deadpool 2 that's just like his
the cab driver,
just like the dad. No, not the cab driver. It's like when they're parachuting, just like the dad, like he has no powers, but it's like you're coming with us anyway.
So the building collapses. The starfish, what's his name? Starro.
Also, like, if you'd have told me when I was a kid that fucking Starro is going to be in a movie, I'd been like, you're out of your goddamn mind.
I love that they went big and colorful and stupid as opposed to, like, everything else that DC has done.
Absolutely.
Starro lifts his star armpits and lets little mini stars go out that attach themselves to people's faces and takes over their bodies.
Yeah.
And he does that to like everybody, but the Suicide Squad doesn't work because they all cover their faces quickly enough with either masks or their hands. Or in the case of King Shark, they just can't attach to his shark face.
I don't know why that shit was funny to me. Like them just hitting his body and just falling
and he's
off.
just like slapping him off.
Also, a little earlier, before as the building was falling down, when I thought King Shark died, I was so upset. I was like, no, don't kill King Shark. I was like, but he was fine because he's one of those characters that's like way more powerful than the movie lets on. Because like I think they say
he's like a shark
god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like King Shark is definitely the Groot of this movie. Like everybody, if you don't come out of it loving him and feeling like he's adorable, like I don't know what to tell you. Like he's great.
I think just like Groot too, in the comics, I'm pretty sure King Shark can actually like talk and he's like regular intelligence. I don't think he's like.
I know in the cartoon Ron Funches plays him and he's like this like kind of nebbish IT guy.
That's hilarious. I need to watch that cartoon.
I love Ron Funches so much.
The Suicide Squad completed their mission. They destroyed Jotunheim. Starro is going to like take over the city and then I'm assuming eventually the world. So the Suicide Squad, Waller says, your mission's done. Go back to your extraction point. They start to go, then they all slowly have changes of hearts about saving the city from Starro and stopping Starro. Alice Braga, or no, the one who looks like Alice Braga but is behind Amanda Waller, brains her with a putter as she's about to blow off a dead blood's head.
I thought they were good. I thought they legit killed Amanda Waller in this movie. I was like, wow.
Like everybody's on the table. Like,
but they didn't. They didn't.
Yeah.
Well, like,
which is kind of a
I feel bad for that character because when Amanda Waller wakes up, she is going to murder her.
Oh yeah.
Like there's no way she's still alive.
I think there's also a point in when they cut back to it's like, oh, we got a kaiju in this bitch.
Yeah, that guy was really funny. That guy was really funny. I also I think like God said it earlier, but all the control room stuff was done so well, and it was if anything, I wish there was a little bit more of it. There was like a MacGuffin in like the middle of the movie where they lost comms, so they kind of drop out for a lot of the movie. Yeah, but they're very funny.
Whether they're placing bets on everyone or whether they like realize that they like how Slapdash is like, did anyone know that fucking Bloodsport's is scared of rats? Like, I'm fucking. Did anyone check to see if Weasel could swim? Like, have you ever worked?
I also like the, and I mean, it goes with the theme of the movie, but I like that when the Suicide Squad's like, okay, we're gonna fight Starro. Like Amanda Waller's like, no, don't. He's like, if anything, like Starro taking over that country is going to be looked at as an upgrade. Like, I just like the complete disdain for like America to having to any other country, and like that's very good.
Well, like she's not like she's good. She's not like super accurate to the comics, like, but to rehab the character that you already have from the first movie and make it something interesting, I think. Yeah. Like, they tried to do the comic Amanda Waller in the first movie, but they butt-fucked it so bad that they had to go super arch just to make something out of it.
You had to give her something to do. Like, you ruined her in the first one, so you have to do something in this one. So
the guy who flew the kaiju guy from the control room is the guy who did the mocap for King Shark.
Oh, no shit. That's awesome.
It's the same guy. He's been in some other stuff too. He's funny. So we get to our ultimate battle where they're fighting Starro. Polka Dot Man makes a dent in it and then gets smashed after he realizes he's a superhero now. He's elated and overjoyed and then gets just turned into paste.
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I saw it coming a mile away, but it was still funny.
His powers were incredible, honestly. Like he's like going vaporized shit. Like that's a terrifying power set that he has.
Also, his running joke about how like his mother is the reason why he's the way he is because she's like a mad scientist basically, and he sees her everywhere, and like that joke was just very funny.
In the dance club, that was hilarious.
And when she turned into Starro, I thought that was funny. And like when she was the suicide, like every time they did that joke, I laughed.
And shout out to that guy whose name I can never pronounce, but he was
David something or other.
I fucking loved it when they're in the fucking briefing. It's like we're all gonna die, and he goes, "Oh God, I hope so."
Yeah, that guy's great. I mean, that guy's been he was in the fucking Dark Knight. He was in Blade Runner 2049.
He's an Ant-Man. Yeah, like he's great.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
So he gets turned to paste. Who's left?
You got Harley Quinn, Bloodsport,
just
King
smashed
Shark.
into a building. He goes in. King Shark. They finally give him permission to eat something, and he goes and tries to eat Starro, and gets flung into a building.
You got Ratcatcher,
Harley
Bloodsport,
Quinn's
and
making
Harley
her way
Quinn.
the building. Yeah, Harley Quinn's making her way up the building so she can stab Starro in the eye with the javelin. Bloodsport uses all his guns and really runs out of everything. And then Ratcatcher summons every rat in the city into a horrific, disgusting swarm.
Just fucking gross.
That swarms over Starro. Oh my God, it's the grossest thing I've ever seen.
Like you can just feel it when they're all crawling over Idris Elba.
Yeah.
But that her like main rat was adorable. Sebastian, was that his name?
And it had like a nice little beat
is that rat waving at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would appear so. Why is he doing that?
Excuse me, ma'am, you forgot the rat.
Because he's friendly. That was awesome.
He got that nice little like flashback beat with her and Taika Waititi, which I like.
Harley Quinn. We get Harley Quinn's.
Oh, you mean the flashback to Professor Megorium's Wonder Emporium or whatever the fuck was going on in that scene?
Yeah,
I liked it.
I did too. I just like Taika Waititi.
Yeah, Harley Quinn stabs Starro in the eye.
I love that sequence
which
too.
lets all the rats inside of it, so they start eating him from the inside out.
I love that
so
sequence
disgusting.
though. When she pierces the eye and then she's in like the eye fluid, like I love that sequence. That's such a cool idea. And then all the rats are eating his insides. Like that was such a cool sequence to shoot.
It is cool, but it doesn't stop how disgusting it is.
No. I
it's
feel like
gross.
her jumping with the spear, too, is a reference to some other movie. Like, I can picture somebody jumping in with a spear, like, to hit somebody in the heart.
Well, no,
300.
Batman v Superman.
300, I think, is what I'm thinking of. But, yeah, I know this. They have the Spear of Destiny in a Batman movie, too.
In 300, you have that scene with it's not a spear, it's, what's his name? Big Dick Magoo. And he's like, our arrows will blot out the sun, and he jumps up and he cuts the guy's arm off.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I thought the spear thing. I thought the spear thing was in reference to BVS.
I would imagine. Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
So they kill Starro. Dead Blood has the disc with all the video footage of them experimenting on and proof that it's the U.S. and he has it uploaded so that if he dies,
policy.
if he dies or any of them die, that it'll be uploaded to the internet.
Yeah.
So Waller lets them all go free. They go free and get extracted, and that's pretty much the movie, except for the stinger.
Yeah, and the stinger is that I don't think we mentioned it, but there's a point in the movie. Well, so did we talk about how Rick Flag gets got and John Cena kills him? Like, you find out that Amanda Waller knew all about the Black Op or whatever, and John Cena was the insurance policy to make sure that the drive gets destroyed. So John Cena, like, Rick Flag's like, fuck this, I'm gonna fucking blow this whole thing up. John Cena kills him. Then John Cena, in his, like, you know, his way of making sure everything's cleaned up, he's about to kill Ratcatcher, and then Blood Helmet fucking kills him, or, well, you think he kills John Cena, but then the stinger is that John Cena survives. So that's going to lead into the Peacemaker HBO TV show in January, which
there's also in that
should
fight
be
with
out
Flag.
right now. Like,
There's a legitimately fantastic camera move where the Peacemaker helmet's on the ground and they're showing the fight in the reflection of the helmet and they're panning around it, which I thought was like super inventive for a movie like this.
And then a fight with Peacemaker and Blood Guy. They had.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, with
the smaller bullets. Like, how'd you get me? It's like smaller bullets, which was, I guess,
that was
Peacemaker's. Yeah, that's how he's more accurate because he uses smaller bullets.
Yeah, it was really good, and I cannot wait for that TV show. Like,
dude, the thing that got me in this movie, I was like, of all the shit I couldn't believe was in there was when they get to the Starfish base. And it turns into a David Cronenberg movie for 5 minutes, and like it's just like hanging bodies and just like the most horrific like body horror shit. Like I was like, "Ooh, man, I can't believe they signed off on this." Like,
I mean, you can just tell like they just told James Gunn, like, do whatever you want, we don't care.
Yeah.
Like, this felt like there was literally no oversight from DC whatsoever.
It turned into Ford versus Ferrari. It's like, you want this done right, you're going to get out of my way, and I'm going to do whatever I want, and I'm going to save your ass because this, not the movie, but the story, right? Like, you guys are fucking shit in the bed every, 10 minutes, like, because you don't know what you're doing. Let me make a movie that will work. And I think they just gave him the right, because James Gunn likes gross stuff, and this was
But I talking about the future of DC movies, like, they're not going to be able to keep this up. You're not going to be able to make something better than this or like that same tone. I don't think they're going to.
Well, you know what they're going to do is they're going to try and make 9 different versions of this movie and not understand why it worked, and they're all going to be bad.
Yeah,
you're going to get like a fucking like Ragman movie or some shit, and then they're going to increasingly take more control of it, and it's going to be bad. It's what they did with That's what they tried to do last time with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're still stuck on that because it's like, well, let's get the Guardians of the Galaxy guy to actually do it, since our attempt at doing it didn't work.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe like this will teach them to like. Maybe they'll be the studio that lets directors do whatever they want. But I doubt
I guess it depends on what the Batman does.
Well, yeah, I think that's going to be good too. I mean, Matt Reeves is a talented filmmaker, so we'll see.
But like, is there anybody in the room that doesn't think this is the best DC EU movie? Like,
without a doubt,
far?
I don't think there's not even like a close second. Like this.
I mean, if you strike, you got to strike all the Nolan Batmans, right?
Those don't count. We're talking about the new stuff. We're talking about from Man of Steel.
Man of Steel onward, yeah.
I mean, I still haven't seen either Wonder Woman movie or Aquaman, but I'm guessing that they're not as good as this.
They're not. They're not even close. Like this is to me, and I told you already how much I like this movie. This rivals like Marvel stuff. Like this is better than Black Widow. This is better than like.
I honestly enjoy this more than most of the Marvel movies, just because it has all that shit we love. It's it's an exploitation movie. It's a big stupid monster movie. Like the movie is. For like a kind of tight constructed script, like he embraces the fact that the premise and superheroes in general are very stupid.
Yeah. I even felt like at times, like especially in the beginning, like this felt a little like Battle Royale-esque. Like I feel like he took that influence as well and threw that into this movie. Like I loved it. I mean, I really did. Like I and also the movie's kind of long, but it flew by. Like I didn't really feel the length of the movie at all.
It also doesn't feel as much like a product as the rest. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's checking a ton of boxes off.
Yeah,
like especially with the choices of the characters that they used, which I'm sure was part of like, well, give me a list of the people you don't give a shit about, so I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's.
But at the same time, like I care more about the Ratcatcher 2 and Polka Dot Man than I've ever cared about Wonder Woman. Like I genuinely, as characters. Yeah. Like connected more with what they were putting out on screen, like
for sure, because you know that like they're not going to kill fucking Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? They couldn't even kill Superman in the same movie for like 2 straight minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Anything else we can talk about before we get into Five Knuckle Shuffles? Okay.
I love the blood pool tech real quick, like the nanotech guns and shit. Like I really enjoyed that.
It was like the Nerf, like those old Nerf guns where you could just mix and match all your parts and pieces.
Well, I liked the excuse of his helmet could like break down into nothing, so it was like made sense that he could constantly just take it off and put it back on. Also, big ups to Idris Elba, who's a guy that's not like he's not constantly worried about having his face on screen where he would put on the mask. Like Will Smith famously is a guy that's like, no, I'm not going to wear a mask. Like I think he wore that stupid Deadshot mask for like half a scene in the original movie.
It's just like it's so good in this movie.
It's kind of it's sad that like I mean he's getting a little bit older now. It's like this is what you could have had in so many different. If they had done the Batman or whatever with him, it's like oh this guy's really good.
Could have been Bond.
It could have been anything, and now the guy's like 60 years old or whatever, and I mean, he can still do stuff, but they wasted a lot of fucking time on that dude.
Yeah. I totally agree. Anytime you have Will Smith in a movie, you could replace him with Idris Elba, and you will get a marked improvement.
Including the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Including. He's funny. He's done funny shit.
He is funny.
Yeah, and TJ was right, too. I think it was in text. It's like, just, I'm glad they let him use his fucking regular accent, and they just try to, like, squeeze him into something.
Thank you. Yeah, it's like how many times he can do an American accent.
He was going to do his Black Baltimore accent. I would have been into that.
If he'd been Stringer Bell, he should have just been Stringer Bell. Like Stringer Bell could have been part of the DC universe.
I mean, they own it.
Yeah,
Warner owns HBO.
All right, Five Knuckle Shuffle time. Alec,
I'll give it a 9. It was good. It wasn't perfect, but I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot. The characters are all good. Really, the biggest thing that bothered me was just the time jumps in like the last third of the movie. Like I felt like they did it at the beginning and it worked a lot, but like when they did it in Deadpool, both movies, they did it at the beginning to set up the story, and then once you get to a certain point, you just go linearly from there on. Overall, it's really good. It's really enjoyable. It's easily the best DC movie. Yeah, it's the best DC movie. It's a 9. TJ.
I was gonna give it a 9, but the more I think about it, I'm giving it a 10. It's 10 for me, dog. I love this fucking movie. I am saddened because I think that, like I just said, I think that while I would like to see other DC movies be good after this, I just don't think they're going to be. But there's just so much to love about this movie. I love the dialogue. I love the simple things like the screen transitions and the kind of I would call them like chapter headings. Like there was definitely moments in the movie where it was like Harley Quinn's story, but it was shown in like the roots of like the hole she was in.
Oh yeah, where they did like Operation Jotunheim. It's like, no, wait a minute, we got to do this first, and then it erases on the screen, and it's like Operation Harley.
Yeah, I thought that was going to annoy me, but I liked it. I thought it was charming.
Well, you take that in stark contrast to what Marvel does, and it's just that Russo brothers font that they've stuck themselves to.
Oh yeah,
and it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest deal, but it is kind of nice to have somebody go, "Oh, let's do something a little different." Like that's what this whole movie felt like. It's like, let's try to do something different. And I liked all the characters. I felt like I knew all the characters. I thought the comedy all landed. I thought that the action sequences were done well. I thought that there was a visual flair added to like each of the characters, like that Harley Quinn scene where she's just murdering all the the soldiers was awesome. And then that simple little visual flair of like the flowers and like her weird manic perspective on the world. Like it's not overdone. Like I feel like in a lot of other DC movies that have been like her entire thing, the whole movie, like a cartoon bird would have like showed up on her shoulder or like some horse shit. It's like, no, it's like, it's just there just enough. And then you get that awesome scene in that like hallway where she just takes apart guys that felt like something out of like.
Well, we love hallway fights.
It just felt like something. It felt like something out of like an Indonesian movie. Like I loved it.
Honestly, I'm sure that part that vision she has too is for a like practical rating reason.
Oh,
because it's like the confetti and fucking Kingsman or like
Kill Bill, the 88 crazy 88.
Yeah,
black
you know
and
what
white.
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love this movie. Like I said, I watched it twice, and I fucking loved it. I thought it was great. It puts into harsh light how awful the original Suicide Squad is. Like it's so bad, and it's like I don't know. James Gunn is very very fantastic. I'm a big fan. He's a guy I've been hot and cold on in the past, but he very good, very very good, and. I hope whatever he does, I'll continue to support. And this was great. Like, give him more big budgets to do just whatever. Like, fix all the DC movies. He should remake BVS. I would love his take on it. It'd be hilarious. That's what he should do. Just like do like the rebuild, the James Gunn rebuild universe, and just have him remake all of the Phase 1 DCU movies. It would be amazing. But yeah, Gogs.
It's gonna be a 9 for me. I really enjoyed it. There was some stuff that was some stuff might have been a little too tongue in cheek at points, which I thought was like weird that I took that take on it. But like, I don't know. It is a lot of fun. Idris Elba's great in it. John Cena is great. And there's not a bad performance in it. Like I said before, you've got characters that are just they're not even C-list. They're D-list characters. They're just complete throwaways that I am more emotionally invested in than I am with Superman, right? Like, you've got fight sequences that you can see that are well choreographed. It's bright. It's colorful. It's fun. It's just, it's like a big spectacle movie I'll say this, for all the big and spectacle about it, and Harley Quinn had some big silly scenes, between, I think, the setup of seeing Birds of Prey, which is a movie that I was shocked I enjoyed, and then seeing this, they've actually sort of like, I know Sean's saying they don't know what to do with her, but I feel like they've found a way to, to like balance out. Like she doesn't have to be super over the top all the time. Like she can kind of be subtly over the top.
Yeah.
Like they ration it out, and it kind of works, and the character is turned into someone that I'm enjoying seeing on screen. Like she's annoying in the first Suicide Squad movie. And then Birds of Prey, I was like, oh, I don't mind this. And then this, I was rooting for her. I was like, she's great in this. So Yeah, they're never going to make another one. They're not going to be able to replicate this. This is a one. I know I've said this about movies in the past, but like Creed, and they proved me wrong, but it's not. I don't see how they're going to do it. Like, you're not.
Well, the nice thing about the Suicide Squad, though, is as a concept, is you can make it like an anthology series almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just kind of wipe it clean and start over every single time.
Yeah. And just, I don't know if it's, I guess, will it feel repetitive or derivative if James Gunn does it again, just with another batch of characters that you kind of barely know anything about? I don't know. And the fact that they came out guns blazing, I mean, in the first action sequence, you lose what, like 6 named characters? Like, they're just like, they weren't even spread it out. It was
we
like,
forgot to mention that you find out Weasel survived.
Weasel survives.
Is that a dog?
Pete Davidson freaks out because he thinks it's a werewolf.
Also, very happy to see Pete Davidson die very fast.
Oh, he got it quick.
Yeah.
He didn't lurk around on screen very long. I was sad to see Nate. I was getting Finian. Yeah, him die so quickly because I like him as an actor quite a bit. But that was.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that character, but he screams like a character that was in like the Justice. What's that?
The Legion of Superheroes.
Legion of Superheroes. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Because they have like matter-eating lad and like all these weird ass powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is the best DC movie I've seen yet, and highly recommend. It's a 9. Sean.
It's a 9 for me, like probably closer to an 8, but like a 9 still because we don't do halves or whatever. I agree with Alec about some of the pacing, like and this has happened in a few movies we've seen recently. It's not as egregious, but like the blowing up the building sequence feels like the end of the movie, and then it's like, oh yeah, we got to deal with the Starro thing, which is cool in an island, but like just the way it's kind of cut together, I feel like slows it down a little bit. I think I mentioned this earlier, like the Ratcatcher and Blood Boil dynamic, like I get what they're going for, but it doesn't really work because they don't have time to really explore it a whole lot. Like they're both performing well, and like there's the thing, the parallel between his daughter, but that's not really addressed, and it feels like it's more in there as a joke about the first movie than it is like any actual character motivation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like even that, the switch flips so fast, like I don't give a fuck about this daughter, and it's like we're gonna put her in prison. It's like I give a fuck about this daughter. So
I think like I don't know. I took it as like he's like a fucking like a Wolverine, right? Like he's like a huge asshole, but there's a part of him underneath all that still cares. Like
I get that, but like with Wolverine, that from 8 million years of fucking continuity. I don't know. This is like a brand new,
Well, it's more like I guess because I took it more as like a trope than anything.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like he turns that part of himself off, so they can't use that to hurt him.
I get it, but it's also like a big kind of fucking like beat in the movie, like motivation wise. And Harley Quinn, I agree with Gogs. I think she's gotten better, and like she's really dedicated herself to that character, and like the character itself has gotten better. But it's that Black Widow thing where it's like they really don't know what to do with her. It's almost like, look, if we have her in all the scenes with the Suicide Squad, it's going to detract from what they're doing because it's like, when she's in this, she overpowers everything because the character's so big.
That is true. So also, real quick, I liked her outfit in the first scene because it reminded me of her outfit from the Arkham games. That was cool.
Yeah, but it's like, so it's like we got to put her off by herself because it's like it's fucking up the dynamic of the scenes when she's in them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair point.
But no, I really liked it. Like it was very well put together. Like I enjoyed all the fucking slapstick gore gags. It's by far the best DC movie, but it's just I don't know what they're doing, and they don't seem to know what they're doing. So who knows what's after this? You know what I mean? They've kicked around like the Flashpoint thing. I know they're doing the Batman. I don't know if that's in continuity or if it's not, and they're going to have to reintroduce the Joker at some point because you got to do that. It's just like
we reintroduce the Joker from the Joker movie, or is it a new Joker? Like it's got to be that Joker movie has to be a standalone thing.
Because this movie is in continuity with the original Suicide Squad movie, as far as I know. So like that Joker still exists, I guess. I think I said this before we started recording, but I was really hoping
that he would kill that Joker off in this movie.
Yeah, I'm sure they
like
wouldn't
make
let him.
some kind of reference to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't let him either.
One thing I did appreciate about this movie that like I'm surprised that they did was there was no big cameo, there was no Superman, there was no Flash, there was no none of that. Like it was just about what was going on. I guess Harley Quinn's a big enough character that you don't need that. But that didn't stop them from dropping Batman into the other Suicide Squad movie for no reason.
Remember how awful that Batman scene was? Like it was.
Yeah.
It was actually there was 2 Batman scenes, wasn't there?
Yeah, because there's one at the end. There's like a stinger.
Well, no, there isn't. God, these movies all blend together. There's a scene where Batman. Isn't there a car chase scene?
So yeah, there's 2 scenes. That's right. Yeah, there's the Deadshot
and then there's
scene.
a Deadshot scene.
So there's 3 Batman scenes.
Yeah.
Well, 2 Batmans and a Bruce Wayne. But yeah, it was. This movie showed a lot of restraint, weirdly enough, when it comes to shit like that, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
But it had just enough kind of like I don't know moments to not like put it up at the 10, but like it was very refreshing. Like it's. I can't tell you the last time I like legitimately enjoyed a comic book movie like this. I don't know, Guardians 2.
Yeah.
Like or Endgame maybe, but Endgame also had like a whole lead up to it. For this to just be kind
of payoff.
Yeah. Or which one? No, not Endgame. Which one did I like? Infinity War.
Okay.
I didn't like Endgame. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Like it's just a couple minor tweaks, but like it was nice to enjoy watching a movie.
Right?
That was fun.
I think that's why I gave it such a high score. It's like, wow, I like movies again. Look at that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think I don't think you could have made a better version of this, minus like trimming a couple things and reordering it. But like, and I just hate to keep harping on it, but I think Harley Quinn kind of, even though her scenes are good in a vacuum, and they would have been good if it was just her movie,
right,
like kind of drag it down a little bit.
I can see that. I didn't have a problem with him, but I do agree.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point that her character is so big that it kind of like, she has no choice but to overshine the other characters because she's the biggest character. Like, you can't do anything about that.
So, but yeah, so it's a 9.
All right, cool. What are we watching next week? I think it's either Alec or Gogs' pick.
Alec, do you have one pick? Do you have one in the chamber?
Alec? Oh, have we lost
him?
Is Alec asleep?
Alec.
Alec.
Oh, sorry, I had it muted. Kindergarten Cop 2.
Oh, shit.
No.
Here we go, baby.
Here we are.
All right. Kindergarten Cop 2. Back to Dolphist. All right. I will have that on the thingy here shortly. All right, everybody. Well, have a good week. Eat your own ass.
Yeah, that's great. It's. I feel like I'm in that scene in The Dark Knight Rises where it's like, the thing that keeps you in prison is hope. We got to like see the sunshine for a minute.
Are you telling me you're worried about Bill Bellamy's Kindergarten Cop 2?
No, I'm sure it'll be a fucking auteur masterpiece. Like, I don't know.
Get the Criterion Collection up on the Plex.
It's going to be like Come and See, but Kindergarten Cop. Reference that 2 people understood.
Is that the movie where the brother and sister fuck each other for that old man?
No, Come and See is like this war movie. You've probably seen the cover.
Oh, yeah.
It's this kid that like has this 1,000-yard stare. It's like an incredibly intense war movie.
What's the movie I'm thinking of?
Dogtooth.
No, it's some like Mexican horror movie. Like,
what is that movie called? Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. It's called like Tourists, or it's got like a weird.
No, it's not Touristas Go Home. It's like
that movie slaps.
Something that it's not Under the Skin or The Skin I'm. It's
I wrote that whole article about. Yeah, it was like We Are the Flesh or something.
That's it. Yeah.
That movie fucking sucks. Oh my god, I hated that movie so much. You fucking the whole movie. You're like, oh, they're in this weird like post-apocalypse because they're like struggling to survive, and this weird mystic makes brother and sister fuck each other. And then at the end of the movie, you find out they're in the real world.
Nope, they're just a regular ass Mexico.
Oh, God, what a fucking terrible ass movie. Oh, God damn it, Sean. Now I remember that movie.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, shit. All right.
All right, bye. See you, everybody.
All right, boys. Bye.
Later, boys.
All right.